Well, we at Classic Heroes have been lucky enough to get our hands on this wonderful old E21 A1-3 series, made rather more special by the fact it has to be one of Alpina's very, very, very earliest examples of, if you like, the modern era of Alpina, when you could actually get a car from Alpina start to finish in its entirety. This is an Alpina A1-3, loosely based on the E21 320. I'm quite sure not many of you have seen one of these before. Well, Bernard Bovensiepel, the man responsible for Alpina today, started his life, funnily enough, with Fiat 500s, but very, very quickly his talents were turned to tuning friends' BMWs, primarily the new classes, and Falkenhausen's famous M10 engine, which also is featured in this 320 A1-3 Alpina. The early Alpinas were cars that were visited Alpina and were tuned by Alpina. It was slightly later on in Alpina's life that you could actually go to them and order a car manufactured by Alpina. So I think the important thing to stress is anything earlier than sort of E21 era is still a BMW, but this isn't. This is an Alpina. Well, this car was manufactured by BMW on March the 15th, 1977. The car was then delivered on the 17th to Alpina at Bucklow. Despite it being one of the earliest examples that I've certainly seen, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen, you already see the telltale Alpina signs sneaking through. The Alpina stripes, still used today, the fantastic classic 20-spoke Alpina wheel, and that wonderful Alpina front spoiler. Well, the last thing that finished off the outside of this wonderful Alpina A1-3 is the very, very famous Alpina rear spoiler. Well, a terrific amount of you will recognise that. Falkenhausen's amazing M10 motor. This is a 2-litre version, single overhead cam, 8 valve. I mean, the life of that engine was unbelievable. I mean, it spanned 3 decades. But you'll notice under here Alpina's magic has been at work with 45mm side draft Solex carburetors, Alpina airbox, and 125 horsepower, which, although by modern standards isn't a terrific amount, the car to drive is incredibly flexible and a real pleasure, real great fun and joy to drive. Well, despite this A1-3's 33 years, it just shows even back then at the birthplace of modern Alpina, they really started to appreciate how much the general public wanted bespoke but enhanced BMW models. You will see on this car, obviously we've already talked about the external modifications with the front air dam, the rear air dam, and the wonderful famous Alpina stripes and the 20-spoke classic Alpina wheels. The interior I'll show you in a minute, but mechanically already Alpina were developing their own suspension kits on this car, the modified Alpina cylinder head, the carburettor. Again, despite the age of this car, you'll start to see little bits of modern Alpina sneaking its way in. You're already featuring the Alpina dash plaque, one of the first models to have that. The wonderful Alpina steering wheel that Alpina used Momo to make for them. And of course they turned to Scheele for these truly amazing Alpina striped seats, which are amazingly comfortable. Models before this won't have seen the very famous Alpina on the instruments, which this E21 featured. And that steering wheel, of course, many of you have recognised and was used again for another 3 decades after that, not forgetting the Alpina gear knob. A very privileged new owner of this A1-3 is going to benefit from the first 3 owners who have looked after this car truly amazingly. The body shell is completely original. It's been resprayed, but the actual shell itself is completely untouched and original. A real credit to them, although the 3rd owner has only owned the car for 2 years and about 500 kilometres. The car's only covered 90,000 kilometres from new, which again is very clear to see here. The other amazing thing about this car is the paperwork that comes with it. Not just has it got all its original handbooks and etc., the original radio with the original radio instructions, but the lovely thing is it's actually got the original purchase invoice for the car from Alpina in 1977. Now, how many of those exist today? Not many, actually. Well, this car to drive was a real credit to the last 3 owners, of which the third has only owned the car for a couple of years and 500 miles. It's so smooth to drive, so refined and so quiet. I mean, this really is the modern era of BMW and Alpina. Just very exciting.